Hello and welcome to your Valley News Now update. Duke Schindler here taking over the desk in this late afternoon on a great Thursday afternoon, giving you an update on what we're working on here in the newsroom, letting you know and updating you on what's going on in the community here. We'll start off in Grand Forks as one man has been arrested for allegedly threatening to shoot up and burn down an apartment complex. Now that's the man right here. On August 18th, Grand Forks police, they were called to an apartment for disorderly conduct. One person in the apartment told officers that this man right here, Jasper Torres, was outside and yelling that he was going to shoot up the building and burn it down. Another neighbor allegedly just asked Jasper to be quiet. He told that neighbor that he was lucky that Jasper didn't shoot him and the building up. Police found Torres, who said he was upset because he had slept outside the night before, and he also mentioned Torres did. The things he was yelling was actually lyrics to a song. He is now being charged with terrorizing. Now, a little bit closer to home here, a Fargo man who is currently registered as a sex offender is being arraigned for allegedly possessing child sex abuse materials. This is the guy right here. The investigation, it actually goes back to December 17th of 2024, where the app Reddit located 8 files of children ages 5 to 15 engaging in sexual acts. Documents say the files were shared on October 8th and 19th from 2 separate accounts, but it had the same IP address. Court documents also mention that Patrick Rooney, the guy you see on your screen, was the one making posts on Reddit and sending messages with said material. A search warrant was issued, and officials found more chats once they looked through Rooney's phone. Not to mention over 100 files of girls in their teens or early 20s. His next hearing is scheduled for October 1st. Bringing you back here as we approach the new school year, some unfortunate news. A child has been taken to the hospital this early morning after being struck by a car while riding a bike in Fargo. Just before 8 a.m. this morning, Fargo police responded to a call of a victim being struck on his bicycle from a vehicle in the area of 54th Street and 40th Avenue South. The juvenile bicyclist was transported to a local hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. However, no citations or arrests have been made at this time, as the crash also remains under investigation. And since we're talking about back to school here, the season is here as many students go into their bus stops for their first day. But that can raise safety concerns for parents as their child heads out of the door. We'll bring up some video here. Drivers are reminded that flashing lights mean the bus is stopped or it is about to stop or come to a stop. Now, children can cross the road from either direction when those lights are on, so all lanes of traffic must come to a complete stop. For any kids who may be riding a bike or walking to school, it's important for the parent or the guardian to know this route of travel in the case of an emergency.
So if something were to happen, you know where to go look for them, making sure that they understand, both pedestrians and bike riders, not to cross the street unless we have a crosswalk. Jaywalking and crossing in places other than where there's a crosswalk is very not expected for drivers.
Now, Heck also mentioned that it is especially important for drivers to be aware of their surroundings for any kids who may be on their way to school or kids who are on the way home from school once the day is complete. And bringing you back here, we want to bring up another mugshot here. This is going to be Jake Langeslag. This is a man that's facing 14 counts of animal torture to his goats, and he spoke to Itasca County commissioners about getting those goats back. Now, Langeslag was arrested back in February after officials found piles of dead goats on the property he was staying at. But he told commissioners they created a real mess, and all he wants, well, it sounds like he wants his goats back. Go ahead and take a listen.
I had to leave town for a while because of all the death threats that I'm getting from animal rights activist groups. You guys created a real mess. Real mess. And I want my goats back. I want my livelihood back.
Now you can read the whole story as well as more sound with a summary of the incident on our website, valleynewslive.com. And before we let you go here, heading over to sports, a real surprising trade coming from the Minnesota Vikings yesterday, this close to the final preseason game. The Vikings are trading defensive tackle and former captain Harrison Phillips, as well as a 2027 seventh-round pick to the Jets for 2 sixth-round selections coming in 2026 as well as 2027. Both sixth-round picks here. Take a look at your screen. Phillips spent 3 years starting every game in the purple and gold, clogging the interior of that defensive line. He racked up 207 total tackles in those 3 seasons in Minnesota, not to mention that incredible play against the Buffalo Bills that helped propel to an improbable win. Now the 29-year-old has 2 years left on the extension he signed last season, but Minnesota, they already picked up half his salary for this season. So the Vikings, they're going to save about $3.7 million in the cap for 2025, and then his full salary saving $7.5 million in cap space for the 2026 season. So for such a huge man, no pun intended, in the trenches there, who's going to be the next guy that steps up? Now, Phillips was no doubt the leader on that line, but to make a move like this, you have to be reliant on the young core the Vikings currently have, while having the confidence that they built up a good offensive line, or defensive line, excuse me. So who is replacing? Well, we got a couple guys here. We know Jonathan Allen as well as Javon Hargrave will be around those edges, but who's filling the big spot at nose tackle? A couple guys here that the Vikes are confident in. Jalen Redmond, he's the first to come to mind as he spent last year in Minnesota appearing in 13 games for the Vikes and racking up 6 tackles for loss. Then there's the rookie and very intriguing prospect Georgia Bulldog Teroyne Ingram Dawkins, a 5th rounder in this year's draft, and he was ranked 2nd in athleticism among all defensive tackles at the Combine this year. The 6'5" Bulldog had 10 starts in his final year with Georgia, 8 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble. Now, there's no indication on who's going to fill that gap, literally, but to note, Ingram Dawkins did take a ton of first-team reps last week during the joint practice with the Patriots. So we're going to keep an eye on that Vikings depth chart here. As we approach the regular season, we'll see what they do in the trenches, as this is also expected to be a very, very good defense this season. That's going to be it for your Valley News Now update. Duke Schindler here. We'll catch you later.